right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. We got a really interesting story to discuss today, and that is Kalecinski switching to men's open bodybuilding. Interesting timing here. At less than 8 weeks out from the 2025 Mr. Olympia, talks about in this update that he's weighing 17 kilos heavier than his competitive weight would allow, so the weight cap, which is about 37.5 pounds. I believe is in the up to and including 6 foot weight class, which would mean his weight cutoff is 227, and so you would add 37 pounds to that. He'd be about 264, 265 at 8 weeks out from the Olympia, less than 8 weeks out. And what he says in that update is that it seems like it's just becoming increasingly more difficult for him to make weight, but also the fact that at the body weight that he's at now, he feels like he's ready. So in order to make weight, he would essentially be shaving off 17 kilos of pure muscle just to compete. And he says that just doesn't feel right. Now, I feel like a lot of people may have seen this coming. I mean, for the past couple years, some of the off-season updates that we've gotten from he's been, 275, almost 280 in the off-season with, striated chest, deep separations in the quads, damn near striated glutes. We've seen how off-season heavier can be pretty insanely conditioned for how much he weighs relative to what the weight cap cutoff is for him in Classic. But I think this probably answers why we haven't seen anything from as far as a physique update going into the Olympia. We just did the Olympia Classic physique preview video the other day, and we've seen updates from essentially everybody. Rough Diesel, Mike Sommerfeld, Ramon Dino, Logan Franklin. We've seen like weekly, if not daily, updates from all the top guys. And we really haven't seen an update from even this year. So I think some people kind of suspected there was something going on there. But in addition to that, there's some questions that are not answered by this post. The primary question being, when will be switching to open? What does that mean for for the rest of the year? But in another post on the IFBB Germany page, he answered this question, and I think this makes things really, really exciting. So apparently will be abandoning his Classic physique qualification for the Olympia this year and will in fact be trying to qualify for open bodybuilding at the 2025 Mr. Olympia. So this is a very immediate switch. He's looking to get to the open Olympia this year. And how's he going to do that? By competing at the final qualifying show of the year for open, which of course, almost poetically, is the show in Germany in September, which has now announced that he is going to be doing to try to secure himself that qualification for the 2025 Mr. Olympia. And I just have a hunch that we're going to see do very well at that show. I don't think this is going to be a lackluster open debut. I think it's going to be something very impressive. And we have the potential to have a really interesting lineup at that show, too. We know that Italy is shaping up nicely, but depending on who wins and who doesn't win that Italy show, Germany is the next and the last show after that to qualify for this year's Olympia. So when you're talking about Quint Beastwood, Sergio Oliva Jr., Mark Hector, Lewis Breed, you've also got the open debut of another Classic physique guy, Stefan Matala. So if all these guys end up also doing Germany, depending on who wins Italy before Germany, and now you've got in this Germany lineup, I think, we're going to surprisingly have a really exciting final show of the season. And as far as what do I think about this, I think this is actually a great decision by And I think we're probably going to see more guys from Classic Physique follow in his footsteps if he's successful in doing this. Because what I think here is that knows his body. He's been competing for a while. He says at this point it doesn't make sense for him to try to make weight for Classic Physique when you're talking about stripping off 17 kilos of muscle when he feels like he's already in shape for a show. It's counterintuitive, it's counterproductive, and that's not going to help him bring his best look to the stage. He knows what he's doing. And I trust that if is willing to make this decision, this big of a switch, that he knows that it's the right choice for him. And I think based on some of what we've seen from lately in the last couple years, like I said, these off-season posts, these off-season weights that he's given, it's already seemed almost unbelievable that he was able to make weight for Classic the past couple years. And like I said, I think you'll see guys follow in his footsteps, possibly somebody like Ramon Dino. You look at some of the recent updates of Ramon. Ramon looks pretty insane. He looks pretty big. He's one of the guys that I look at right now, and I don't know how he makes weight for classic physique. And again, knowing some of his weights from preps in previous years, and then looking at his look now, how big Ramon looks, that's one of the reasons why I don't know how he makes weight. And I think that maybe open bodybuilding is ready to have more classic physique guys switch over and be successful, because you've seen it happen a lot with 212. And here's kind of the reason why you see that. 212 and open bodybuilding are judged exactly the same. They're just different variations of bodybuilding. The only variation is that weight limit for 212. So that's the reason why you see so many guys that are, top level 212 guys, when they come over to open and there's no longer a weight limit, a lot of them are immediately successful because it's judged exactly the same as bodybuilding. Hadi Chupin and Derek Lunsford, even guys like William Bonac, Sean Clarita, Kamal El Gargni. But I'd say mostly Derek, Hadi, William Bonac. These are some of the big examples of very successful 212 guys. The judging is the same, 1-to-1. Classic physique in men's open bodybuilding is not the exact same judging, and I feel like that's why you haven't seen that many crossovers yet, because there's a little bit more still to prove when you cross over from classic to open. There's a little bit more of a gap to fill because the judging is different. A lot of the criteria are the same, but it is different. And I think that once we start seeing classic physique guys, like a guy like Urs, that's a top-level classic guy, come over to open and win shows, qualify for the Olympia, maybe place well at the Olympia on top of that, I think we might see more guys switch over, and we can see more of what we saw from guys like Derek or guys like Hadi, but maybe with a little bit of a different spin on it because they come from classic. And, honestly, it sounds crazy to say this, but thinking about Urs at 265 or whatever he said he was weighing, and he's about to compete in this Germany show, picturing Urs with that amount of size, with that trademark conditioning that Urs has consistently brought to the classic Olympia, I think a peeled to the bone 265-pound Urs is going to be a lot more dangerous at an open bodybuilding show than I think a lot of people give him credit for. And I think his odds of winning that show are probably a lot higher than people are anticipating. But I'm going to go ahead and read his whole post here at the end of the video so I don't take anything he said out of context and just read it word for word. So this is Urs's post announcing the switch to open bodybuilding. He says, I have decided to switch to the open class bodybuilding, and I want to inform you about my thought process behind this decision. The struggle to cut weight for classic has become increasingly difficult to a point where I either had to sacrifice my health tremendously or my best possible physique attainable. Those who accompanied me through last year's Olympia know that I suffered from depression and anxiety as I have been trying to grow and evolve my physique, while always thinking a weight cut will somehow be possible when it comes to prep for a competition. I now know I had underestimated the consequences of such a big cut. My body has been put under continuous stress, and my mental health has been afflicted with this problem consistently. Classic physique and its ambassadors from the early stages of bodybuilding, Flex Wheeler, Lee Labrada, etc., have been my biggest inspiration to pursue this sport and a similar physique. This division will always have a special place in my heart, and I'm beyond grateful for the past 5 years competing in this division with competitors that have become friends for a lifetime. I'm almost crying writing this, but my body keeps telling me to release all brakes and strive for my personal best physique possible. Sadly, this isn't possible in classic physique anymore, and I'm well aware of the consequences, but be it economically, competition placings, or disappointing followers. But I've got to listen to my heart and follow my gut feeling. I'm also aware of the fact that my chances to compete with the best of the best in open bodybuilding right now aren't as good as in classic physique, but I don't want this fact to keep me from the chance to fall in love with the sport again and strive for a new, mature version of my physique. Frankly speaking, I'm now 17 kgs above my weight limit for classic physique, but my body is almost stage ready, meaning I have to lose about 15 kgs of pure muscle to make the weight. Honestly, this just feels wrong. I know many of you will disagree, and every one of you is welcome to give your opinion on this, but I want you to stay respectful and constructive when commenting. So on that note, guys, I want you to let me know what you think in the comments below about switching to open bodybuilding. I think this will be a really interesting debate. I'm very interested to read these comments, so let me know down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys, appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power, my Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power, my secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.